Something that keeps me up at night is the fact that I will never see my face. You're probably like, what do you mean? I'm looking at my face right now. I'll never see my face from the perspective of somebody else. The perception that somebody else has of me, of my face, is a direct. Damn, how do I say this? This is so like, this topic is so nuanced. How do I talk about this? So basically, I will never see my face the way that somebody else does. Because when you look in a mirror, what do you see? You see your face, right? But actually, that's not your face. That's an inverted version of your face. You put this can to the mirror. If I were to tip it sideways, which I'm not going to, it would not reflect directly what is on this can. It would be backwards, right? Which is exactly what happens with your face. Alright, enough of this face talk. What does this actually imply as far as this message goes? You will never actually see your face. And everybody's perception of you is different. It's gonna be different based on people's experiences, individual experiences they've had with you as a person, with you as an individual. This may be very hard to conceptualize, but you don't have an identity. Let me say that again. You don't have an identity. This is probably really hard for some people to hear, but this is just the objective truth. Despite everything you may know about yourself, you may think you know, nobody really knows themselves. But more prominently, nobody really knows you. It's funny because all of this is like an objective experience or a subjective experience. No one person has experienced you the way somebody else has. So somebody else may feel a completely different way about you based on past experiences. You may have pissed somebody off when you first met them, and now they hold this wholehearted resentment towards you and distaste for you and your personality and your identity. That is their perception of you. Somebody else, on the other hand, may have a very good experience of you in the very beginning, and therefore you have a spot in their heart because of that. Therefore, they see you in a positive light instead of a negative one. I just think this is an entertaining thought, and no one person has the same thoughts towards you. When they hear your name, when they hear my name, Marley, what does somebody think about? What does somebody feel when they hear my name? And that all has to do with previous experience of you. And nobody thinks the same thought. That is the point here. But more importantly, because nobody actually knows who you are, it's like, does your identity actually exist? Do any of us actually know who we are? Because like we can think these things about ourselves, like yes, we have a personality, but at the same time, there's an element of mystery. There are pieces of ourselves that have not been discovered yet. The question is, will we ever fully know ourselves? To fully actualize oneself, to fully actualize who you are as a person, I believe is quite literally impossible. You can never find who you truly are as a person, because there's always more work to be done. There's always a hobby that you don't know exists yet. There's always something you haven't pursued. There's always more that you could do. There are things out there about yourself you don't know about yet. There will always be things about yourself you don't know yet. To think you fully know yourself is kind of like a delusional reality, because you don't actually know yourself, do you? This isn't to say you don't have a personality. Like, you have a personality. I'm not gonna disagree with that. You have certain things about yourself that you enjoy. You like reading. You like taking pictures. You like filming videos. You like listening to music. That's a part of your personality. But as far as your identity, it's hard to say that you are one thing, because you are not one thing. You are many different things all at once. And this is kind of a freeing feeling, because knowing that your consciousness is kind of like floating around in the universe, and that you're capable of being whoever you want, whenever you want. No one person is going to experience you the same way you experience yourself. You're free to be whatever you want. It's kind of funny because I've seen memes where like people joke about being a consciousness, like you're essentially your brain, and your brain is commanding your body to move and experience this life in the way that feels most actualized towards yourself, towards what you want to do in this life. So in essence, you are not your body. This is not you. This is not Marley. This this thing inside my head is me. This is Marley. This is what defines me as a person. My brain and my soul. That's what I believe. I could have spawned into this life as a completely different person, and I would still be me. Maybe I wouldn't be in the same body, but I'd still be Marley. Every person that you meet is gonna see you differently. For example, a lot of people I work with, I've known for like 3 years now. And when I first started working there, I used to be really, really skinny. This is on, right? And I was basically built like a twig, and people were actually concerned whether or not I'd actually be able to like do the manual labor. And nevertheless, I survived because I have a pretty strong brain, and as long as you can overcome that, you're good. But I started to get into like lifting, bodybuilding, improving my physical wellness and getting stronger. And I actually started to get like big, like really big. And compared to when I first started, I was a completely different person. So the people that met me when I first started working are not gonna see me the same as after. People that met me after I finished, like, not finished, but the people that met me after I got big see me in a completely different light, because these people here, when I first started, they know what I used to look like. People here, they don't know. They don't know I used to be built like a number 2 pencil. So that is one example of how somebody who meets you later in life is not going to see you the same as somebody who knows you from prior experience. But that can also pertain to knowledge as well, your skill set, your brain. Because if you learn something, if you learn a new skill, if you take up a new hobby, if you develop your brain, you develop your knowledge. People who meet you when you are not very knowledgeable are going to see you differently from the people who meet you afterwards, after you gain knowledge, after you gain experience. And this is very surface level of what I'm trying to cover, but what I'm trying to say is that everybody's perception of you is going to be different based on how you develop yourself over time. Just like a lot of people at work, they call me like this Giga Chad. They think I'm this perfect human being as far as like my physique and my face and all that. They think I'm perfect in terms of physicality, but there was a point when I wasn't. I had to work on that. The identity and the way they perceive me after is not the same as before. Your identity can change over time. You are not going to be the same person your entire life. And people who meet you throughout the course of that time period of your life are also going to see you differently based on when they enter your life. No one person is going to see you the same. And it's a very interesting concept, because you do have to question whether or not you have an identity. This is a very impromptu video. None of this is scripted at all, so it's just kind of whatever comes to mind. Oh, this smudge is bothering me. This smudge on the mirror. Not cool. That's worse. Damn. Alright. But the point of this video is to say that your identity doesn't really matter. I don't know how this is going to be perceived. I'm simply putting out a message that I think people may relate to. And this is something that I believe in. I believe that we're constantly changing and evolving as people. And as long as you continue evolving and changing, people who meet you throughout your life are going to see you in completely different ways. Every person you meet is going to perceive you differently based on their experience of you. So you have to question, does one really have an identity? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm trying to get like more creative with the stuff that I'm doing. Because bro, because I think that like just talking to the camera is cool, but also I want to be creative. I don't want to just sit down in front of the camera and talk. Yes, I want to do that, but I want to do it in a way that incites creativeness. Creativeness. So that is why I used the mirror today. Just because like we're talking about perception and your identity as a person, it's always changing. It's always evolving. It should be, at least. As long as you're constantly evolving towards the person you think you should be, you're doing something right. And if that's the case, no one person is going to see you the same. No one person has the same experience of you. I hope you found some value in this. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're growing like crazy. It's starting to slow down, but we're on our way up there. Also, follow the Instagram. I'm going to leave it down below. It's still private until 1,000 followers. So if you want to join the community, do either one of those. And keep having thought-provoking thoughts. Never stop growing and developing yourself as a person, because that's all we're here to do. So have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.